If you run a business, whether you like it or not, your competition is stealing millions and millions of dollars from you. I know it's probably not what you want to hear, but if you're doing tasks that are below your pay grade, you might as well simply light that money on fire. The truth is, it's relatively easy to completely change this, and instead, you're the business in your market making millions of dollars, signing all of the clients, taking a huge chunk of the pie, and getting all your time back. You're gonna see how easy this is to do in the principle of this video as I walk you through exactly what you need to do to get ahead of everybody else's business and take back all the time so that your business runs on autopilot without your direct involvement. But we can all agree we have the same 24 hours in a day. The only reason people are able to get ahead is because they're able to take time back. They're able to start making time work for them. What I mean by this is that most people, if they really got down to the nitty gritty, they could accomplish so much in a very short period of time. Maybe you've worked a job before. Maybe you were a high performer in school. Maybe you're someone who doesn't need as much time as most people to do a task. Let's say you were one of the smarter kids in school and you read really quickly. When you're reading, teachers would make everybody read aloud in the room. And ultimately, you would sit there, even if you were reading it all in your head as they're going through it, you'd still have to sit there and wait while everybody else read out loud at a slower pace. Or maybe it's something as simple as you worked a job at one point and you were able to get your entire workload done in 3-4 hours a day, but you still have to be there for that 8 hours a day. As an entrepreneur, you don't, which means that if you're able to take all the time back that you need for the repetitive, boring, autonomous tasks, that means that you get more time to spend with your family, more time to pursue your interests or hobbies, more time to work out or cook or whatever it's going to be. No matter what it is that you want more of in your life, you're able to do that by effectively delegating and basically making time finally work for you instead of you working for time. But let's say you run a business, and a lot of business owners, they've built themselves a prison of sorts instead of building more freedom. What typically happens in terms of growing and scaling a business is that it starts off as like a solo founder, maybe multiple founders, and you do all the work yourself. That means you're prospecting the clients or the customers, you're doing the customer service, you're building the product, you're responsible for every part of the business from A to Z. What happens is that you start to hire out a little bit here and there, but you don't give them enough autonomy, or they're not capable of having enough autonomy on themselves. A lot of overseas talent is simply not capable of taking on full responsibility that you as a business owner need them to take on so that you can actually take something off your plate and give it to them and say, hey, you own this. It's really difficult to do that when you're paying someone $200 a month. It's just not likely that it's going to happen that way. You get what you pay for. But if you are constantly living in that chaos, you're never going to actually be able to scale the business because you're too busy doing tasks that you could easily outsource for $10 or $15 an hour when your time is worth hundreds of dollars an hour. When you look at it that way, it simply makes no sense whatsoever for you to be doing those low-level tasks because you're basically just pissing time away. You are slowly marching to death faster than you can imagine, and you're doing nothing about it but continuing to do the same stuff while not actually putting any growth into your business. One of the challenges that many business owners face is being willing to take something off of their plate. It's your business, it's your baby, you've built it from start to finish. Trusting somebody else with that is like giving your child to the nanny for the first time. If you can get somebody who are 70-80% of the way that you are there, then you get all that time back and you're able to then bring in more business, put out more lead channels, and do the high level stuff that matters. It starts by getting the right person to begin with. It's a lot of work to hire properly. You have to sort the resumes, you have to screen people, you have to do all these different steps from A to Z that, of course, take more time away from you, from your family, your friends, your hobbies, your interests, your passions, your in the business tasks, of course. The actual stuff you have to do in your business on a day-to-day basis is when you're hiring, you're pulled away from all of that because it's a very consuming thing to be doing. Maybe you're able to find some overseas offshore talent. There's challenges that come after that typically too. It is incredibly difficult to progress with this and actually start to build out a team. Maybe you take a new approach and you go and you hire somebody else. And this time you say, I'm going to build in a little bit better training, a little bit better expectations, no matter what it might be. And it might work. You might get what you need. You might have somebody. But then after that, how do you reach scale? Because that is where you really start losing your time. It's not on the first hire. It's not even on the second. It's when your company starts making thousands of dollars every month and you have multiple people who you then have to start trusting and delegating to. Instead of being able to relax on the beach with a nice cold margarita in your hands, you know what you're doing? You're looking over everyone's shoulder, wondering and expecting where they're going to screw it up again. People sense that and people know that you are expecting it, which makes them nervous and makes them screw up more. You have to decide as a business owner what it is that you're going to do. You have to decide, am I going to continue hiring cheap offshore talent who I can't trust to get anything done or who can't own anything with full responsibility? A lot of the times it's just not good enough. What if I told you there was a way that you could actually warp time, take time back, and ultimately trust people in your business for a reasonable price and able to actually take things off of your plate and own them? So it all starts with the right people, going through resumes, going through all the different steps. If you're hiring from traditional outsourcing country, there's simply so many of them. You need to make time bend and warp for you. You need to be the master of time. This means that you build out clear training, clear onboarding, that you actually have a good pipeline of talent that is sourced properly instead of just hosting a job and hoping magically that someone is bestowed upon you. And this doesn't mean you act like a dictator, but you make it clear. This is the expectations. This is what you're responsible for. If you don't meet these expectations, you're going to have a talk. And that's where leadership comes in. Option number one, obviously, is you source all these people yourselves, which again, it's like a needle in a haystack. Option two, you can go with a company like Hire UA. We source from the best country in the world as far as overseas talent. There's no doubt in my mind on that. High levels of English, total understanding of the culture, great business sense, technical skills if that's what you need, and we will take care of the entire process from you from A to Z. All we need is for you to book a call at the link below. On the call, we will get enough information to actually write out the job description for you. Our client success managers, who are trusted in entirety to handle the whole process from A to Z, will be taking care of you. They'll be sending that job description over for approval, and then you simply have to sit back, send us your calendar link, and we will be scheduling everything from there. You can either continue being the business owner, spinning their wheels in circles, trying desperately to delegate, or you can work with a company that has done this hundreds of times, has libraries of trainings and SOPs and more at your disposal, and will ultimately take the entire process off of your plate from A to Z. You can get all of that time back. Thanks again for watching the video. Time is the most valuable thing. Don't waste it.